What time is it? It's journey time, and time for another creative journey using Stampin' Up products. Hello, my name is Kathy Haynes, and today we're going to take a creative journey using the element of text, which I believe is retiring and could still be in the last chance products. And also, I believe this might be retired also, but any Floral 3D embossing folder will work. This is the You're in My Thoughts Floral 3D embossing folder. And as you can see, this card is going to be pretty simple, but we're going to take a piece of designer series paper. This was in the Silent Night or Stars at Night. It was a Christmas bundle suite 2 years ago, and this is a piece of paper that was in it that I didn't really use for Christmas time, and then I thought about this technique, and I thought this would be perfect because I wanted to kind of do a mixed media type effect, and instead of creating the background with inks and splatter and everything, which we're still going to use splatter and some inks, but to create the background, this was perfect. It was already done for me to do this vintage card, gratitude card. Isn't that adorable? So let's go ahead and get busy. Let me tell you how I created this, and it's very easy, so stick with us. The first thing I did, this is a 5 by 3 3/4 sheet of that designer series paper that's in the Stars at Night, if you still have it. The other side was actually Night of Navy, and it had all kinds of beautiful things. Let me show you one card. I made this card, and I believe I did a video on it. So if I did, I'll link it above. But it's a standalone card. Isn't that just beautiful? And so all this in the background, this was the paper. And see how beautiful it is? But on the back side was this paper, and it was like a desert scene, and I really didn't know how to use it. So now, long story short, we are going to use it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do in the elements of text, there are a couple of splatters. And so I'm going to use those, and I'm going to use copper clay, which I believe is also retiring. And I'm going to do some splatters. And you want to turn it different ways when you're doing this. And then I'm also going to use, there's another one in that same set, and I'm going to put some more splatters on. Now, if you don't have a splatter stamp, I'm going to show you another way to make splatters. Simply take a drop of whatever ink you're using, put it on there. We don't need much. And then spray, this is an acrylic block, or you could use a craft mat. Spray some water on it, and then take a paintbrush, which I had right here. Let me grab another one. And I like this one, and I actually get these at the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to ink it up really good, mix the ink. And then for former smokers, back when we didn't know any better, you take it and you do this, okay? But if you don't, you can hold it and do it this way too. And as you can see, or maybe you can't, I'm getting splatters all over. Now, if you want bigger splatters, you use more ink and more water, and fill this up with even more water, you'll get bigger splatters. But for this case, this is just fine. So I'm going to shut my copper clay. Now I have all my splatters on there. And the next thing I want to do is I want to take, this is one of the text on that element of text sets, and I'm going to use Stampin' Up white craft ink. Now, looking at this, I know I really don't want a lot up here of this white to interfere with my sentiment. Words fail to express my gratitude. But I do want to put some elements here and there. And I could put some up here in the way corner. Just keep it out of the range of that. And then maybe here. You could even do it sideways, whatever you want. Okay? And it doesn't show up a whole lot, but it adds depth to the project. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that gratitude stamp and stamp and emboss the gratitude. Now, because of the timing, and I can't find that stamp even though I had it right here, I'm going to go ahead and here it is. See, I'm not crazy all the time, you guys. Sometimes I have it together, I just don't know that I have it together. So I'm going to use this, and what I want to do is I want to keep it up in this top quarter, let's say, and I'm just going to stamp it right about here. Okay, don't rock, don't roll, but hold it for a few seconds. Anytime you stamp, you know, that you really want good coverage, hold it for a few minutes. Okay, and you can barely see it. So you say, what are you doing, Kathy? Well, now I'm going to emboss it. And what a difference this is going to make. So I have some white Stampin' Up, it's kind of older, powder, embossing powder. And I'm put it on there, but I'm also going to put some down here on those other pieces that just to make them pop a little more. Do you see that? Now I'm going to put this back into my container. And that is the thing with embossing powder. Use a lot because it all goes right back in the container. You haven't lost anything. And now using I got these extra long ones at some kind of 99-cent store. But now I'm going to go ahead and heat this up. Now, the bottom here, I'm not too concerned with if I get all the powder or not. And you'll see why in a minute. So this area is just not that important to get all of it, get some of it. But the gratitude, of course, you want to get all of it. And right now, I'm going to wipe this off. So remember when I told you, don't put it where the words are going, and then I did. So I'm going to wipe that off. I can see it's coming up. And I might have got my W. So I don't care that I got my W. I would go in afterwards and maybe I'll show you with a white gel pen and just fix that. All right. So do you see how now it kind of pops? All right. So now I have this. Okay. But wait, we're not done. Then what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do it, I have another one, but I'm going to take this Thoughtful Words embossing folder. You want to find the side that has the sinkholes in it, so you know that's going to be the front because it's going to pop the stuff out. So you want to be sure to put this on there. And then I know I want to use these 3 flowers, right? But it's not going to work if I put the whole thing in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it this way in, and if you can see, I'm going to line up my flowers just where I want them. Does not have to be straight, but I don't want to go above here. Now I can't put that through my machine that way, obviously, so I'm going to do what you're not supposed to do, and I'm going to run this through sideways into my big shot. Okay, but for the sake of time, I've already done that. So see how the creases stop here? And that's because here is not in a folder, okay? Because I've run it this way. So this is going to stay flat, just like this. And if it's a little crooked, it's not going to matter because I'm going to put my bow on top of it to cover any mistakes. That's what bows and a ribbon are for, correct? So let me wipe this down because I've got some ink on it. And now I've run it through the machine and I've got my embossing. Can you see that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my white, Whisper White, or white, whatever they're selling now. This is pretty old. It's crafting, so it kind of stays wet, and that's how come you can emboss with it. But I'm just going to rub it in different directions. A little bit of pressure, but not much at all. And I want to highlight. Do you see it highlighting all the flowers? So now you can see the flowers. So you decide how far you want to go, but I think that's perfect. All right, so that's how we get the focal point of this card. Now I want to glue it down with, I'm going to tell you, I like, when I'm working with any kind of foil paper, I like to use tear and tape, and at a off-brand 99-cent store out here, I can get the basic 1 inch, which is perfect for things like this. But when you have an embossed thing and you're going to go on a foil sheet, for me, glue doesn't really do it good. If I do this, and then I want to show you what I do with it, I always take a bank card or a key card. Let me look in my drawer, because I just had a class with all of this, and I think they're all out on the table still. But here's a Starbucks, the older kind that are thicker, because they're getting thinner and thinner. You know how things go. I'm going to line it up right there and pull. See how that works? And I'm going to put one on this end, and I'm going to push it down. That gives it the adhering pull. And then I want my middle also. Because it's embossed, I want to make sure that it lays flat on my foil. Now I'm going to take my That's a Tool. Here it is. And I'm going to peel this up. And like I said before, and I'll link it below in the description, I hope, which all the dimensions, products used will be listed below. Or you can hop over to my blog, itsjourneytime.com. And I post most of my projects with all the information and links there. So here's my foil sheet. It is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to stand up for this one. Now I'm going to keep these fingers open and under it so that it doesn't touch anything. Now I see I have a little piece over, so I'm just going to bend that over so it's not outside collecting dirt. Keeping my fingers like that. I'm going to line this up the best I can. Now, a piece already touched, and I'm not ready. Okay. So that's the best I can do at this point. And smooth it out, and then see how flat it is. It just gives such a better, I love Tombow for doing cardstock to cardstock. When it comes to foil, I really like tear and tape, which Stampin' Up has. Or this, like I said, I get at a 99-cent store, which of course is no longer 99 cents. But there you go. Now what I want to do is I want to take my ribbon. This is copper clay ribbon, but you won't find this on my Stampin' Up website, because what this really is 99-cent store ribbon that has a foil in the middle. I buy a lot of white and cream ribbon. I love seam binding. I think I've showed that before, because you can make it any Stampin' Up color you want, or any color you want. So what I did was I took the copper clay pad, and this works better on our older pads than it does this pad, but I simply laid this white piece on here. Let me show you how I did it. I simply laid it like this, and I took a sponge and I laid it right here, and I pushed kind of hard, and I pulled slowly. Okay. Now it's not doing it this time, but look on that side. See, and when it dries, it'll be a little bit lighter. So I just run it, and then I have matching ribbon. What do you think of that? So, yes, anything to save a dime so that you can spend your money on the important things like stamp sets. So now I'm going to take this ribbon. I'm going to leave my darker side outside. It does soak to the other side too eventually. And I want to tie my knot ribbon on the side. So I know it's going to be right about here. So this is where I take a piece of tear and tape. And this will keep my ribbon in place. And it doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be perfect at all. But I know I want it right about here. So I'm just going to put the tear and tape there, lift it up, and then hold this up. I know I want enough to tie, so I'd say about that much, you know, and you can play with yours. You'll figure it out. Right above that, this is a little bit too high, so I'm going to go a little bit lower, right about here. So I'm looking at my gratitude. I don't want it right on top of the gratitude, and I can bring it down as low as I want. I just want to be sure to cover that beginning and end of embossing. Okay. Now I'm looking at this and thinking I should scoot it over just a tad. And that tearing tape is not permanent. You know, it's you have time to adjust. And then I'm gonna press, bring it over, tie my knot, put my finger there. And this is so much easier than a bow. Okay, there you go. Okay, of course the edges are not what I want, so I'm gonna take some scissors and cut my edges. I'm just, for this one, just going to do this way and this way. Isn't that cute? What do you think? Now we're simply going to adhere this to the base. I'm going to use dimensionals. I just had a class, so I haven't put everything away yet. Add dimensionals, one in the middle, and then make sure around the edges. Okay. Then I'm going to peel those off using my pick a tool. Throw them in the air like nobody cares. And then line it up with my base. And this is a 4 1/4 by 11. Scored at 5 1/2. It gives you a long card, that's a tent card. I'm gonna stand up again. Line this up the best I can without getting my head in there. And there's my card. All right, then I'm just add a little bit of bling. And this is like a copper bling I got online. And then inside I'll put my sentiment with a strip. Now this strip is the back side of that paper I just used. And my strips are missing in action, but here. So this is the paper we use. This is another one. And the back of that paper is that side. So I put mine like that. I just put my sentiment piece in and added this at the bottom. So isn't that adorable? What do you think? One of my most simple cards, but I think it really does a great job. So, and I think whoever receives it will be grateful. So thank you for following me on another creative journey. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know how you feel about this. That'll help the algorithm of my videos go up so you'll see more videos. Meanwhile, until our next creative journey, may all your layers be straight and all your bling shine. Thank you for doing another creative journey with me.